The further adventures of Indiana Jones continue with issues number 17 and 18. The story arc, The Search for Abner. Again written by David Michelini. This is the payoff for something that was slowly built up during the previous issues. Marion Ravenwood got a letter from an old colleague of her dad's who claims, he may still be alive in like the Himalaya. So she goes there and Indy goes after her. And together they go looking for Abner if he's still alive, because he has been presumed dead in an avalanche. Here they meet a villain who's not really fleshed out. He's pretty lame actually, some French guy who's also teamed up with the MacIvan guy, who was an artifact thief from a previous comic story who survived. So I'm glad Michelini is bringing those characters who had an open ending back. That was something I was curious about, and yeah, he does it, that's good. Eventually, on top of a mountain, they find a mystical city. It has like a supernatural power source, and they do find Abner, or maybe not. It's left intentionally ambiguous. So overall, the story is very fine. I'm glad for the continuity with bringing back this villain that was already established. I like the entire plot with the search for Abner, a character we had heard about, like in the movie obviously, Raiders, but never really like got him as a character, and we still don't in here. Again, it's kept like vague intentionally, but it's good. What the comic does with Indy's character though, he's kind of worried if Abner is still alive, because he fears if Abner Ravenwood is still alive, his current relationship with Marion may be doomed, because Abner obviously hates the idea of Indy and his daughter being together. For good reasons, as we know, Indiana Jones is canonically a pedophile, and he fucked her when she was 14 and he was 27. Thank you, George Lucas. And that makes the comic a little bit awkward to read when we get that scene with Indy being like worried. It's, yeah, not the comic writer's fault, it's a George Lucas thing. The end of the story also sets up another plot, which is interesting, because once Indy and Marion return to the museum, they learn Marcus Brody has apparently been fired, and the museum is investigated for fraud, because an artifact that Indy has brought back in a previous comic adventure, it's claimed that it's a fake. So now the museum is being investigated and everything, so there is already set up here, which I like. But, spoiler, the next issue will not deal with that at all. But we will talk about that in the next video. So, The Search for Abner, this storyline, very fun, highly recommend, it's good.